Hey, what's up? This is Casey with another episode of the show I don't have a name for. Uh, Today's shirt of the day is a dress shirt. It's kind of a flannel kind of a dress shirt. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's from my mom. Maybe it's from a girlfriend from the past or a friend from the past. I can't remember at the moment. Uh, so this is my classroom. I could give you a tour, but my camera is kind of stuck to my computer. I'm using the Zoom program. This is the program I use to teach. As you can imagine, I'm going to talk about coronavirus and how coronavirus has affected our teaching lives here in South Korea. This isn't how, I don't know how most places are doing it. This is just how my school is doing it. We are teaching over Zoom, which is just a type of teaching program or meeting program that you can do over uh, the internet. So far we've been teaching for 3 weeks online, and it's really opened my eyes a lot to a lot of stuff I miss about teaching in an actual classroom, face to face with an actual student. And I just learned over dinner time that I've got 3 more weeks at least of teaching online. But, you know, the good news is I'm still alive. I don't think any of my students are sick. Uh, I still have a job. I'm still getting paid for everything. Uh, I I'm still safe here. I don't have to wear a mask, you know, depending on places. I can still buy groceries and toilet paper and stuff like that. I don't know how it is in other places. Unfortunately, my gyms are closed. My jujitsu gym, my weightlifting gym are closed. Um, Social distancing is still kind of sort of a weird thing in this country. It's very bizarre. I think it's because it's such a crowded city. People don't mind being close to you, but that's kind of sort of changed. Uh, in some ways, because I'm taller and bigger and white, sometimes people seem to want to be near me. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they see my tattoos and they want to be, they might be interested. Sometimes they're terrified. So it's all very interesting. So mostly my uh, lesson today is going to be about online teaching and how online teaching is just less fun than regular teaching. As I'm doing right now, it's just me and this camera. I don't have a camera person in here helping me out. So it is basically like doing a live blog, and it it can be tiresome. Uh, and while I enjoy shooting YouTube videos and stuff, I know I'm not the best at it. I'm not the best technology person out there. So I think it could be kind of boring for some of the students here. We'll turn to the whiteboard. I had to completely rearrange my room. So we'll say downsides of online teaching. See, I can't even see this because whatever, you can probably understand. Downsides of online teaching. So, number one, you really forget. Jeez. Number one, uh, let's just say depth perception. I have this giant whiteboard, but I can't use it. I can only use about, I don't know, a meter times a meter of it because that's all my camera can pick up. Uh, and it gets to be really confusing really fast because right now I'm looking at a mirror image of myself. So even though I've been doing this for 3 weeks, I'm still not used to it. Worst thing, I think this is the number one worst thing. I have to sit a lot closer to the marker board and I'm stuck sitting next to the marker board. Usually when I'm teaching in a classroom, I kind of like to walk around. I like to move around. I like to talk to my students. Now I'm stuck sitting here. So markers smell really bad. I don't know if you've ever smelled one of these things, but it smells, it's like smelling whiteout or smelling paint. So it stinks. I remember when I was in fourth or fifth or sixth grade, whenever my elementary school made the switch from a blackboard to a whiteboard, and so the mark from chalk to markers, I remember I was sick all the time because the markers just gave me headaches. Now I'm going through that again, and I don't know if I'm getting high or just getting headaches and getting sick, but I don't like the way the markers smell. And just being in a chair all day. One great thing about being a teacher is you're up and you're around and you can move around and you can play with your students. If they're young or old or whatever, you've got chances to do that. But now I'm stuck in a chair again. I'm stuck in a desk again. Um, so that's really not that fun. That's not for me. Um, and, as we all know from no matter which country you're in, most schools don't have that much money. My chair is broken. So there's a wheel that's broken. So I exchanged it for another chair from an older classroom, but that chair was broken. So I exchanged it for a different one. But that one was just, it leaned back so much I thought I was going to re-break my neck. So I just took my old chair back. So long story short, I just don't like to be in chairs the entire time I'm teaching unless I'm grading homework or something. Kids don't pay attention. All right. So when you're doing the actual Zoom program, I can see a bunch of students lined up. So I might have a class of 5, I might have a class of 15, I might have a class of 20 students, and sometimes I might see a face. Sometimes they won't turn their video on. But a lot of times you can just tell they're not paying attention. A lot of times you can tell they've got their phone and they've just got it right here. And they're just like, oh, yeah, that's really interesting. English grammar. Uh huh. Uh huh. That's really interesting. And they're text messaging or whatever with their friends. And that's just really annoying. But in their defense, class is boring. I'm not around to be able to make jokes or read their t-shirts or whatever, it. So we'll just say, class is just kind of flat. There's not a lot of personality to the class. I'm not really teaching students. I'm teaching a bunch of, boxes right now. So I don't really know the personality of a student. There could be, I have sometimes write down this student has purple hair or this student really likes basketball, but I don't really know the personalities of my students. and they don't know my personality. You know, I'm 177 centimeters, which is pretty big here in Korea. Uh, you know, but I just look like a giant pale white face on the computer. Another thing, video and audio problems. Okay. Imagine just, you know, sometimes the kids will sign on and then they just turn their video off, or they turn their mic off, or they just have problems, you know, legitimate problems with their mic. Or, you know, they spend half the time adjusting their hair. You know, it's just annoying. Or, oh, teacher, I don't want to turn on my video because I look ugly today. Like, oh, for crying out loud. You know, and you know, you could just sign into class and then turn off your video and watch TV the entire time. You know, and I have students doing that. You know, while I'm on the whiteboard, you know, students sign in and then sign out right after I take attendance. You know, and there's nothing I can do because I can't pay attention to 100 different kids. Tech, all right? I'm not a technology person. So I do my best, I try my best, but I'm just not great at it. But also, not all of my students are great at technology. You know, the stereotype of Asians or the stereotype of Koreans is they're great with technology. Well, that's true for some of it, but some of them are art majors. Some of them are, uh, you know, whatever major. But also remember, sometimes some of this Skype or some of the Zoom instruction material is in English. So imagine, you know, maybe your dumbest technology friend trying to understand the instructions for Skype in his second language. I mean, that's pretty difficult. So I'm happy to still have a job. I'm happy that I'm still getting paid. I know a lot of teachers aren't getting paid. Uh, it, they keep saying, okay, you're going to be teaching in 2 weeks in the classroom. You're going to be teaching. Okay, no, wait, not next week, next week. And then some time goes by. Okay, not next week, next week. Okay, they changed it. So we were supposed to start 2 weeks ago. Now we're starting, you know, in 3 more weeks. So it keeps going and going and going. You know, I think students are I thought students might be less shy over the computer, but they're actually, I think, more shy over the computer. I think my least favorite things are the audio video problems, kids just being bored, and the markers. I hate just having to smell the marker all the time because it just makes me sick. Which is funny because I hate it. I hate writing and the sound of a chalkboard, but a marker I can't stand. All right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope none of you have coronavirus. I hope if you are working, you are getting paid. If you're not working, I hope you're finding something fun to do. If you have any questions, I'm sure I can answer them or try to help. But you're the best. I hope this was informative, and go ahead, watch other stuff. Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye. And also, I'm not very good with the entire thing. Okay. Now,